Hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes. I'm just a professor providing you with context in the war in Ukraine. Here's the daily brief for October 5th, 2024. 1,280 Russians off the battlefield, 8 tanks, 31 armored fighting vehicles, 72 artillery systems, 85 vehicles and fuel tanks. The tempo on the battlefield has not reduced much since, well, for the last couple months. If we look at Andrew Perpetua, he said this, here are the losses I could identify for October 3rd and October 4th. So he's still catching up. It looks like about 3-1 on October 3rd, Russian to Ukrainian losses, and maybe a little better than 2-1 Russian to Ukrainian losses on October 4th. And again, today is the 5th. Overnight, 13 Shahed drones were launched. The Ukrainians say that they shot down 3 of them, and the other 10 were taken down by electronic warfare measures. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Ukrainian State Intelligence Service launches a daring operation in the Black Sea. This time the targets were gas towers used by Moscow as military fortresses, but those military fortresses are apparently now, well, they've been attacked. They've taken over those military fortresses, and they're now working in Ukraine's Special Forces service. So State Border Guard Service of Ukraine shared footage of battles for the gas extraction platforms near Zhenny Island. That's Snake Island, where kind of things began. Ukrainian Special Forces, together with GUR units, successfully reclaimed and took control of part of these strategically important platforms in the Black Sea, which now serve as maritime fortresses for Ukraine. So good on them for taking that back. Last night, I was scratching my head about this one. Ukrainian drones allegedly hit Russian distilleries in Voronezh and Belgorod Oblast last night. Russian officials claim that several civilian enterprises were targeted, but I'm not sure what the strategic purpose or value is there, or if that was accidental or just what. I would think it would be a better strategy to keep the Russians drunk rather than make them sober, but who knows? Okay, let's talk about Kursk. Kursk and border operations, day 61 since the invasion of Russia. Fighting near a number of these towns, not really anything moving significantly. It looks like little skirmishes on each side, but not anything to speak about. But let's turn our attention now to Vuhledar. Excuse me, I keep saying that wrong. Vuhledar, and you correct me in my comments, and I'm grateful when you do correct me in the comments. On October 1st, 2024, Russia took control over Vuhledar, southern Donetsk, which lies at the intersection between the two key fronts of Zaporizhia and Donetsk. The capture of the town came after a renewed Russian campaign through September. By the end of the month, Russian forces had nearly encircled the town, leading to the withdrawal of Ukrainian forces. Russia had been making sporadic attempts to seize Vuhledar for the last 2 years, sustaining heavy losses in the process. And that's what I want to talk about, because they did capture the real estate, but they also suffered heavy losses. And Vuhledar is like a side stop on the way toward Pokrovsk. This is Pokrovsk. This is what they really want to capture. And about 2 months ago, I was thinking, oh no, it's over. They're going to have it by September 1st, and the first frost won't come till mid-September. So it's starting to get to the point where you're starting to get the first frost now. It's October 5th, and pretty soon General Winter will be here, and that could really bail out Pokrovsk. Here's Vuhledar, and this is what it looks like now. This is where it was just a couple of weeks ago. It was not quite captured. This was actually a month ago, and this is what it looked like 6 months ago. Okay, so there's not been a lot of movement, but there's been from here to here, now present day to 6 months ago, significant movement toward Pokrovsk, but then they derailed and started going after Vuhledar, and I just can't understand why they did that 6 months ago and now. And they should have been trying to take Pokrovsk, because that would have been uh, much more. It's not strategic in the sense that it's all going to fall apart, but tactical towards strategic would have been Pokrovsk. I don't know that this will make that much of a difference either way. Okay, let's keep going. So, Russia lost more elite soldiers in 1 year near Vuhledar than in 10 years of the Chechen War. I just try to wrap your mind around that. And then if you look into this and go a little bit deeper, this is the Euromaidan Press, that they've lost, Russian forces have destroyed approximately 80% of critical infrastructure in Pokrovsk, a key logistics hub in Ukraine. So this Pokrovsk that they're going after, 80% of the power and water and other things are shot right now. And if they can turn the lights off, cut the water off, make sure that it's unable to be inhabited, it's a lot easier to take the place, and that's what they're going for right now. Okay, Russia lost more elite soldiers in 1 year near Vuhledar than 10 years of the Chechen War. Okay, but look at this. Russia's elite Marines have suffered 4 times higher losses during the fighting near Vuhledar in Donetsk than in 10 years of the Second Chechen War, according to the BBC. That's crazy. This is according to the Kyiv Independent channeling the BBC. Wow. Now, last night, somewhere over the day for the last 24 hours, Russia lost another aircraft in Donetsk Oblast. This morning, initial reports suggested that the Russian Su-25 ground attack jet was shot down. The plane crashed in Ukraine-controlled Konstantinivka. Later, footage emerged showing that it was destroyed in another friendly fire incident. Well, that's what it appeared. It appeared that Ukrainian shot down. Maybe it's friendly fire. We don't exactly know, but it turned out not to even be that. The Ukrainian Telegram channel Horevat Sniper shared a video of the attack on the aircraft and noted, quote, "The plane that was catching up with the second one was flying on 2 jet engines. The one that crashed was on 1.5 full tanks. Moreover, it turned out it wasn't a Su-25. What actually it was, it looks like, was a Russian S-70 heavy attack UAV. Now, that's what Anton Gerashenko is sharing as well. Russian Telegram channels issued a different scenario of what has been shot down and by whom. According to one of them, it's a Russian Hunter S-70 drone that was allegedly carrying out a reconnaissance flight. Russian media suppose it was destroyed by friendly fire, and it may very well have been, we just don't know. But this is what it looks like. This is a human standing on top of it, and it looks very much like a stealth bomber, doesn't it? The Russian heavy stealth unmanned combat aerial vehicle is known that only 2 of these were ever built, and they're expensive. Okay, Zelensky said that he is preparing for another Ramstein meeting on October 12th. This will be the 25th meeting, but the first at the level of leaders. It'll present the victory plan. Hopefully, things will go well from there. The Russian offensive will reach its climax according to the ISW very soon. Now, that's not the total war, that's just the current Russian offensive. The Russian offensive will continue to lead to gradual tactical successes in certain areas of the front. However, operationally significant gains will likely to continue to elude Russian forces. They're not going to do that great given where they are right now going into winter. Okay, I showed you this the other day. The Air Force showed this footage from one angle of a Russian jet flying right between 2 American F-16s near Alaska. And this is another angle of it. And wow, that the Russians would do this, or they would feel that it's okay to do this and to harass these jets in that way. Why they would feel that they're empowered to do this, it tells you a lot about the state of where Russia sees themselves relative to the United States. It's pretty sad. Meanwhile, Poland is starting to fortify its borders with Russia and Belarus by the end of 2024 due to geographical proximity to Russia and its closest ally, Belarus, amid Russia's aggression in Ukraine. Here's Poland. This is the sea. Here is the border of Kaliningrad, which is part of Russia. Here is Belarusian border. Lithuania shares the Belarusian and Russian border as well. Latvia shares the Belarusian and Russian border as well. And these nations are really thinking about, you know what, we got to be prepared because Russia's aggression just hasn't seemed to, they haven't lost their appetite for it. Okay, how many POWs have been exchanged? How many have died? Some 177 Ukrainian POWs have died in Russian captivity. That we know of. So far, 3,600 POWs have been exchanged. Many still remain unaccounted for, raising fears of a higher death toll. We also know that the torture rates of Ukrainian POWs in Russian captivity goes to 80–90%, something like that. Now, today is World Teachers Day. We honor Ukrainian educators teaching in underground shelters amid war. I've been a teacher most of my life, so I understand the teaching side, but I don't understand what it's like to have alarms or alerts all night where I have to go to a shelter or risk being potentially blown up, and then have to teach the next day in an underground bunker, which is what they're doing in Kharkiv right now. And that you're trying to teach students that have lived in those kind of conditions, not just because they're not paying attention because they've been playing video games, and then you're trying to teach them in an underground facility. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And the older I get, the more I can relate to Clint Eastwood's face. I mean, that's right. I get it. Clint, he looks like that for a reason. And I want to thank you for watching right now because I understand this cartoon nails it. My desire to be well informed is currently at odds with my desire to remain sane. I get it. I really do. But there is some good news. For example, check out Jake Bro and Anna from Ukraine and the 69th Sniffing Brigade doing what they can to make sure that Ukraine wins. They're doing more than many countries. Like Jake Bro, two fundraisers, each have raised more than $1 million each. Like that's crazy. Now, we've been doing our part as well. I've been working with Greg Terry. The armored vehicles, or the armored ambulances rather, are two have already been delivered. Another two are about to be delivered. And wherever you decide to donate, that's great. Anything that helps the cause helps the cause. Leave you with this. If you ever wondered what you'd have done to stop Hitler, you're doing it now. That's right. I think that's fair. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.